Welcome to the Neo operational video series for software version 3.8. These videos are designed for targeted instruction to get you up to speed quickly and simply. This video targets conventional patch. So here we have our live screen, and you can go to patch either by hitting patch on your display tile on your console or pressing the button here at the bottom center of the screen. So here we have the patch screen, and to navigate graphically, you have an options pull down that's now been changed to a more touch-friendly version with all sorts of options there. RDM for remote device management. Edit, which allows you to edit fixture library profiles and matrices, as well as setting pan tilt adjustment and profiles on selected channels. Mute output, a great tool to just turn off output if you want to change things and not have it affect on stage. And visible columns. Currently this is showing the set if you are in basic mode, because basic mode will turn off quite a few of these columns.
On the left side of the screen you have your fixture lists, so this is always your fixture channel ordered list. On the right is your DMX outputs. If you're dealing with multiple universes, then you have tabs for each universe here. Down at the bottom you have available fixtures, and bottom left is the fixture make and model text box, as well as the patch command line where the majority of your instructions will occur. So if we look top left, we can see our list of fixture numbers and their patch address, and notice it's 1.1, which means universe 1, address 1. So we can just simply start patching individual channels, but just so you know, Neo does have the ability for the same dimmer to be in multiple channels at once.
So if I were to type 1 at 2 enter, so channel 1 at dimmer 2, I'm now going to get a flag that comes up and tells me I have a dimmer conflict, that the dimmer I'm trying to patch is already patched into channel 1, and am I sure that I want to complete this patch? And I can say yes or no. If I say yes, now I'm going to get a conflict. So I have dimmer 2 that's patched both in channel 1 and channel 2, and I see the conflict by the light red background letting me know this. Now I am in advanced mode. If I go into basic mode and I try something similar, I'm just going to say 1 at 3, it's just going to say the dimmer you're trying to patch is already patched, you have a conflict, that's it. So in basic mode, it will not allow you to patch a dimmer to multiple channels. In advanced mode it will, only after you take the warning banner and respond to it.
So what I often like to do before I do any patching at all is clear everything out. And so what I'm going to do is type this in, and what I'm typing in is the channel range and then at and the address range. So I'm going to type 1 through 1000. The reason I'm choosing 1000 is that's the default channels for a Neo system. Again, if you're using fewer or more channels, then you'll need to change that number. And now I'll do at, and since I want to get rid of all the assignments, I'm going to do an old Strand console command at enter. At enter is simply a null value, or it means that you're removing instructions, so that we can see now I've gone all the way down to the end of that range on my fixture side, so all the way through 1000 is empty. If I want to see it starting in channel 1, I can just do 1 enter, and that will page for me, so it's a quick way to page. So if I want to look at addressing, I can do individual channels, so I could say 1 at 12 enter, and that's going to assign to fixture 1 address 12. Now notice there is a switch here that says channels or dimmers. So if I switch this over to dimmers, now if I type anything, it will be the dimmer number at the channel number. So I generally prefer to stay in channel order because it makes more sense once you're dealing with attributed fixtures, but you can make the choice. That's what the switch is for. So I'm going to clear these two out. I'm going to say 1 plus 2 at enter. So you can use plus as well as through to deal with multiple channels at the same time. So what I want to show you now is range patching. So if I want to range patch and say I want 1 through 100 to be a 1-to-1 patch, meaning the channel number or the fixture number is same as the output number, I can say 1 through 100 at 1, enter. And that's all you need to patch that up in the 1-to-1 assignment. And you can see the assignment here on the output side as well.
Now there are graphical solutions for some of these things, so you could reset patch here, and there's some different ranges. You could clear patch. Again, you can do it by universe. There are different ways to do it, but there are graphical solutions for some of these things.
One of the very powerful things that Neo has to help you is the columns here of position, purpose, color, and color description. So what I'm going to do is do 1 enter to page all the way back up to channel 1, and I'm going to put in some basic information to help me. So I'm going to make some assumptions about the fixtures and the focus and the light plot that I have in this particular show file. So I'm going to start with position, and I'm going to say, this system has 9 areas of front lights, and the front light starts in a cove position. So I'm going to do cove, shift enter, and that will copy that position information down to the first 9 channels. And now I'm going to go to purpose and say warm fronts, and again shift enter to copy that down. I'm going to skip color description because that'll get populated automatically when I go into color and say capital R 305 as the gel Roscoe 305 that is in those conventional fixtures. Now I'm going to come down to channel 11, and we'll also say that these are in the cove, and these are going to be my cool fronts. And for these I have Roscoe 65. Alright, now I'm going to go down, and in the 20s we'll say we have our side light coming from the first electric for those, and then second electric for those 3, and third electric for those 3. And these are pipe ends. And these are Lee 201. And the last set will be backlight. That is also on 3 electrics. And this is our blue backs. Again, these naming conventions should be whatever makes sense for you and the lighting staff. Now I'm going to go a step further and say, you know what, we really don't have anything patched in channel 10. So instead of doing command line, which I could do 10 at enter, I'm just going to click on that, highlight it, backspace, hit enter, as if I were editing an Excel spreadsheet. So now channel 10 no longer exists. Now for channel 20, I'm going to do this a little different. I'm going to do 20 at enter, but now I'm going to say 20 at 0 enter. And notice it says unpatched. And in a moment, we're going to go to live, and you'll see what the difference is for those. So let's go to live, and it's going to ask if we want to save the changes, and we do. Now, if you'll look, we have 1 through 9 in our cove, warm fronts, R305, and we get a color bar that represents the color. 11 through 19 cool fronts are 65. Notice that there's a gap where 10 would be because 10 does not exist. Yet if we look at 20, it does exist, but it's got a gray number. So that's what the patching at channel 0, or at address 0 will do for you, is it will appear unpatched and it will still show up. And certain people like to see all the numbers but have an indication of whether it actually has an active output patched or not. The last thing to talk about, we'll go back in the patch, is here on the output side. I can hover over each channel and right click. Notice you'll get a red parentheses 255. That's essentially controlling the dimmer itself, and it's outputting the dimmer. So if you need to look and identify a dimmer to define the right dimmer in order to patch, you can do that graphically here from the output side.
Also, there is under Options a setting for Edit Dimmer Profiles.
This will allow you to assign a profile per dimmer. So let's say dimmer 11, I want to have a different profile, so I can just click on it and this will show me a list of which I can pick profiles. If a profile you want does not exist, you can open the profile editor and create your own.
Thanks for watching this Neo operational video for software version 3.8. Go to the Philip Strand website at www.strandlighting.com for many more videos on Neo programming and operation.